Y'all call and tell me everything else, but y'all, I forgot to call and tell y'all how I found out my baby got switched at birth. Yes, my baby boy. So let me get straight to the point. So I had emergency C-section, right? So after the C-section, you know, I was completely out of it. So I never seen my child physically until I got into the room. Boom. The nurse brought the child to me, and something seemed off. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not my child, you know. So now in my head, I'm like, am I tripping? You know, am I paranoid? Like, something is, this child didn't look like anyone in my family, not the least little bit. The child had a different shade, and he had a different skin shade, right? And his skin, I mean, not his skin, his eyes was light blue. So I'm like, I'm telling the nurse, something is completely, you know, off. What? It's not clicking, right? So yeah, oh no, it's cutting off. Come back for part 2. All right, so we got the baby home. So basically, the complexion of the baby started settling in. Mind you, it like 3 weeks had done passed. So now the baby is really white as snow with baby blue eyes. As a mother, you know when something is off, when something is not right. So I'm like, this is not my child. Now, granted, I did not treat this child any kind, you know, different way. I still care for this child. I still did what I was supposed to do as a mother. But I knew that this was not my child. So what I did was make me an appointment to the doctor. And when we got there, the doctor was like, listen, something is not right. So I'm like, okay, this is what I've been telling y'all. I know something is off. Something is not right. So she recommended we do a DNA test. So we agreed to do the DNA test. But granted, you know, DNA test still takes a minute to come back. So now I'm really going crazy. The suspense is really driving me fool, y'all, because I'm like, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, because if this is not my child, where is my child? You know, come back for part 3. Okay, part 3. So as the weeks go by, the suspense is killing me, right? So, it was like 3 weeks out. The doctor called me and was like, I don't want to talk to you over the phone. I want you to come in. I was like, oh my God, after she said that. So we went, she sat me down and she, you know, started talking. But as she was talking, I was hearing her, but wasn't hearing her. And then she said, you were right. This is not your baby. So now I'm getting, you know, like, I'm shocked, y'all. So fast forward to me calling, I had to call the hospital, make complaints, telling them like, now mind you, this has been like 6 months now. So I'm like, pull the camera, you know, I'm making complaints. Everybody is tight-lipped. Like, y'all know y'all messed up. Now, you get what I'm saying? Now that I know for a fact that this is not my child, we did a DNA, this is not my child, now they're acting like they didn't do anything wrong. I need to find out where is my child, and I also need these people to get their baby, right? And just like I said, you know, I still did what I had to do for this child, but I just could not connect to this baby because I knew this was not my child. All right, so then I had to hire a lawyer. Once I hired the lawyer, we were able to, you know, pull the cameras. But they kept on stating that they kept on saying we don't see any suspicious activity. My lawyer stating, okay, well, if you don't see any suspicious activities, let us see the camera. Let us, you get what I'm saying, see the footage so we can see what y'all see. Trying to cover up their track. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. Come back for part 4. I'm sorry. All right, y'all was not playing with me, so I'm going to jump right in it. So we are on part 4. So basically, we went up to the hospital asking them to pull the footage and everything like that. They pulled it, and it was nothing. It was, all we saw on the footage was them actually in there caring for my child. Nobody else's, you know, it was different babies in there, but it was like, it wasn't no suspicious activity. So in my head, it's like, okay, y'all had time to do whatever y'all needed to do to give us enough to see that it was my baby. Well, he wasn't my baby, but to see that it wasn't, you know, anything going on suspiciously. So we then took matters into our own hand, being that the hospital was covering their tracks. What we did was I started to post stuff on, because I wasn't letting them. I started to posting stuff on social media. So we would just, you know, ask them if anyone was at that certain hospital during that certain time that actually went through the same thing that we went through, come forward. So it was like 2 months later that someone actually came forward and it was like, hey, we're in the same situation. We were brought home with, we were sent home with a black child. Simple as that. But we are not black. Okay, in my situation, I was sent home with a white child, but I'm not white, right? Clear as day, you can see, right? So, we was like, at first, it's like my heart dropped because I'm like, are they playing with me? Is it a scam? Is it someone, you know, just trying to, you know, just play with us? I don't have time for that, right? So the young lady, she began to send pictures of this baby. And she was saying how the baby looked just like me. And I was like, oh my God, this child does look like me. And she started sending, so I started sending her pictures of the baby that I had. So basically, the child looked like her husband. Okay, so we did, you know, a meetup. We did do a meetup, and she did the DNA on the child that I had, and I did a DNA for my baby. But the thing is, this is the kicker, right? I was told that for 9 months, I was pregnant with a baby boy, right? But she had a baby girl. So that's where it started getting like crazier. Because now here it goes, is I have this child that looks like the lady. And she has a child that looks not like the lady, like her husband. And she has a child that looks like me, but it's not a boy. It's a girl. So now we're back, you know, like what is really going on? Okay. I'm going to eat and I'm going to finish it. This is part 4. 5 will be the end of it. Y'all will just have to bear with me because I'm going to cram it all into, I think they give me 10 minutes. I'm going to cram it all into 10 minutes. Okay, y'all? Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so the DNAs came back after, I say, like a month. I don't know why it took so long. But it was determined that she was indeed the mother of the child that I had. And I was indeed the mother of the child she had. But the only thing that got me the most was I was told that I was pregnant with a boy the whole 9 months that I was pregnant. But come to find out, it was actually a girl. All right. So this is where it get deep. Me and the young lady, we kept in touch or whatever like that. But it was still in me where I needed answers. How could my child possibly get mixed up? get switched at birth, and they don't have any footage of my child being switched at birth. Just the only footage that they had was the nurse taking care of my child. So something kept saying, look at that footage again. So I was looking, and the nurse, the only thing I could see was the back of the nurse. She never turned around when she was caring for my child. And when she did turn around, she had a mask on, right? But something saying she looks like the lady that had your daughter. She, like, you know, something. I just, y'all get mad all over again. Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that looked like the lady who had my child. But how could it be if we were in the hospital at the same time? So now I'm investigating again, y'all. I'm investigating again because I'm like, no, it can't be. She could not have stole my child when she was in the hospital, you know, herself. And then, mind you, me and this lady had to started being friends. So now I have to make sure my story is together, because I don't want to be out here looking like a mental patient. Like, girl, is you crazy? Or is you fool? Or is you tripping? Or is what you thinking in your head is legit real? Yo. So I'm like, oh my God. So I was telling my mama, I was like, Mama, please look carefully at this video and tell me I am not tripping. Please tell me that the lady that I am friends with, that had my baby this whole time, I had her child, is not the one in this video portraying to be a nurse, when she's supposed to be a patient as well. Mama, tell me I'm tripping. So my mama looked and she said, I said, Mama, please tell me I am not tripping. Because this, if this is this lady, it's going to be a whole nother mess. Because are you a nurse, ma'am? Or were you a patient? What is it? All right, y'all, here goes 6. So we pulled the video. Me and my mom, we watched it, and we was like, hold up, that looks like, you know, the girl from behind, but we really didn't know. So what I did was go back up to the hospital, and you know, I showed them, I had screenshotted the, you know, the lady. So once we got down to it, I'm trying to cram everything up, but I'm not gonna be able to. So once we got down to it, the director said that was a nurse. He told me the nurse name, but he said that she resigned. Okay, push come to shove, she resigned around the time when I had suspicions of my baby being switched at birth. But mind you, the nurse was actually supposed to be a patient, but she wasn't a patient. She was a nurse. Okay. But when she inboxed me and when me and her started talking, basically she was, you know, saying that how she was in the same situation as me. So now I'm investigating to see. I didn't tell her because, mind you, we are friends. So she don't know that I'm investigating her at this point. So I'm still talking to her as normal, still going over to her house. We're still doing everything as normal, but I'm being careful now because now I'm investigating her. So this particular day, I wanted to really try to get to the bottom of everything, not still telling her, you know, what I know, but I went to her house and, you know, she fixed me, something to drink. As she was fixing me something to drink, you know, I was just looking around, but I wasn't trying to make it seem obvious because, mind you, she don't know what's going on. So, you know, I was telling her, I was like, girl, let's look at, you know, some pictures or whatever like that of our kids, you know. So she pulled out a folder of, you know, because she has been taking, you know, pictures and stuff like that of my child because she thought it was her child. Okay, so we came across this particular picture. And when I came across the picture, I dropped my drink, but I had to, y'all, I had to like get myself together, because I'm not gonna tell y'all, the picture that I seen in her photo gallery in her house is the same picture that's in my house of a lady and my husband. So now I'm like, wait, this is too much. You know, what is really going on here? So I continued to talk to her, but then I said, oh my God, I forgot. I have an appointment, you know, at so-and-so time. I have to go. So I rushed home. And when I rushed home, I was looking through my photo album, you know, to find that picture that I seen in her house. So now I'm like, why does she have the same picture that I have in my house, in her house? Y'all, when I tell you, my head was spinning at this point, because I'm like, wait a minute, I did not sign up for this. I don't know what's going on. This is really beginning to be too much for me, right? So now I'm looking at everybody crazy. I'm looking at my husband crazy. I'm looking at her crazy. I'm looking, you know, now I'm calling my mama again. And I'm like, Mama, I went to so-and-so house, you know, and we was looking at pictures, and the picture that I have of my husband is in her house when he was in high school now. He took a picture with a lady when they were in high school, and that picture is in her, you know, photo gallery, the same picture that's in my house. Y'all, this is too much. I'm going to do this last part, and this will be the end of it, because it's just too much, y'all. So, y'all, I found the picture that I seen in the girl house in my house, okay? So now I'm waiting for my husband to get home. I'm not telling him what I found, because I want to see his face when I put the picture up to his face. All right, so, you know, I'm home. You know, I'm shaking. I can barely breathe, because now I'm like, what is going on? So he gets home, and as soon as he walked through the door, who is this? Who is this on this picture with you? So he is like, that was his high school, you know, sweetheart. That was someone who he was going with in high school. So come to find out, they broke up, but they never had, you know, a child together. She always wanted a child with him, but they didn't. So she, I guess, went to the hospital, have been stalking us. We did not know that she's, you know, been stalking. Well, he said that he did not know that she's been stalking us, and he has no communication with her or whatever like that. So come to find out, the nurse actually stole my child. But here's the thing, she always wanted a little girl, and she wanted that little girl by him. So me, the whole time, just like I said, I thought I was pregnant with a boy the whole time, but I was pregnant with a girl, right? Y'all, when I say I could have wrung her neck, because girl, now do you know who you playing with? You are playing with me, and I don't like that, right? So the whole time, it's her that have sold my child, my baby, y'all. And the thing is, the child that I had was never her child. So here's the catch. Now this child that I went home with is now with her. And she had me believing that it was her child. she gave me a fake DNA test, y'all. This is crazy. So now I'm calling the police, right? Because now we have to figure out who child is it that I actually had and now she actually have, because it's not her. She was never a patient at the hospital. After I spoke with my husband, I went over to her house after calling the police so that they can do their investigation. They were stupid. They didn't jump on it at the time when I'm telling them, hey, this lady has a baby that is not hers, you know. So at this point, everybody just thinking I am, you know, crazy. So I went to her house, you know, just to talk to her to let you know, hey, I know what you did. Before, when I'm pulling up, I see my husband's car. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What's going on here? Why is he, you know, to her house? So I didn't instantly go to her house. I pulled up around the corner and walked. So what I did was walk in the back of her house. And when I walked in the back of her house, her room is facing the backyard. So I peeped through the window. It's her and my husband in the bed together. Now I'm really like, wait a minute. Am I in a movie? Am I dreaming? Is this real life? Am I going crazy? What is going on here? So I went around the front and I rung the doorbell, and it took them a minute to come to, it took her a minute to come to the door. But when she came to the door, it was her, my husband, and she was holding the baby. Y'all, I was too stuck to speak. I seen red. I rushed them both. I started beating on my husband because she had the baby. And then she had that baby. She did have that baby in her head, y'all. I don't know what I would have did. But I started beating on my husband, and it's not right, y'all. But at this point, I felt played. I felt hurt. My husband has been cheating on me with this lady the whole time. When he told me that they were high school sweethearts, that he had no communication with this lady. So now I'm yelling, I need answers. I need answers. You're going to give me answers. Give me answers right now. So she was like, I'm calling the police on you. You're crazy. I'm calling the police. So I'm like, no, all y'all crazy. This whole situation is crazy. You stealing my baby is crazy. Who baby you have in your hand? Like, I'm just going, like, ma'am, at this point, yes, call the police. So I called the police. I tried to call the police. Bam. I don't remember what happened next. So I don't know how many hours, how many days passed by. But when I came to it, I was in a dark, cold room, tied up. And I started screaming, help me, somebody help me. It was nobody there to help me. I was tied up. When I came to, she was walking in the door where they had me tied up. And I was like, where am I at? What's going on? So she then said, you know what's going on. This is what you wanted. You kept, poking. And I was telling her, like, ma'am, I just want to get to the bottom of everything. Who child do you have? And at this point, I didn't know where my baby was, if my baby had been put in harm's way. So my husband came behind her and he was like, what have you done? What have you done? So at this point, I'm trying to untie myself while I'm talking to them, and I'm asking him, how could you do this to me? How can you do this to me after all these years? If you didn't want me, why didn't you leave? If you didn't want to be with me, if you want to be with her, why you just didn't tell me? And I'm trying to prolong, talking to them so I can untie myself. So to make a long story short, I ended up getting untied as she was trying to launch at me to proceed to fight me. Something rose up in me. I tore her down, and by that time, The police had done arrived and she went to jail. I was reunited with my child, and the parents of the child that she had was reunited with that child. So basically that is the end. I know that y'all have a lot of questions. So I am here for it. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions. When it's pertaining to the hospital or the other baby's family, I cannot answer those questions. Anything else that you may have you want to ask, you can ask. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget to go at me on Instagram and Facebook. The name of both pages is I Forgot to Tell Y'all. That is the name of the pages. I Forgot to Tell Y'all. I will be starting 2 new series shortly, but I wanted to finish this one. Thank you so much for tuning in.